Joining me now is the man that sits back inside the UFC cage here, UFC Vegas 95 here on Saturday, August 10th, Damon Jackson. Damon, as always, appreciate the time to get to talk to you here. And, of course, this is a somewhat of a short notice matchup. Of course, you replaced Dan Ige, who, of course, stepped up back at the end, of course. But this fight ultimately got delayed a couple of weeks. You know, is it one of those things that obviously, like, man, would have loved that paycheck on July 20th, but you're like, you know what? Having that additional 2 weeks was really beneficial.
No, I mean, for sure. Like, you know, the impatient part of me is like, I'm always ready to take fights. So I'm always like waiting on someone to drop out. So when it happened, I was just excited because I was ready to go. But having an extra 2 weeks to get my weight better than what it was, and cardio and game plan, like, it's just everything. It's better, 100%.
I know when I was looking at your Instagram, it kind of seemed that you were maybe starting to get a little impatient before this one came. Like you were kind of sitting there going, I think you even had one like, hey, if you want to know who I'm fighting next, contact Jason House. He can let you know when I'm fighting next. Were you getting impatient a little bit?
Well, I mean, when you're so I have my gym and I have a lot of like networking with my kids, and like, you know, I'm at the Dallas gym, I'm in the Rockwall gym, I'm inside 24-hour fitness all the time. And so the only questions that I ever get asked is, hey man, when's your next fight? And then how do you cut that much weight? And you know, what made you get into fighting? Like the same shit every time. So, you know, every day I get asked, literally, like, by like close family, close friends. They ask me, hey, you know when your next fight is? So it's just like, you know, it's just part of it, but it definitely, like, it makes you think like, oh, I don't have a fight, like I need to get a fight. So you know, it's always nice to get one on the books. I hate having long camps, so I was really happy to get the call for the short notice.
One of the things that I thought was kind of interesting is there was a podcast that you were on, and you talked about this mindset change, and the mindset was simply, don't giving a fuck. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Like, was there something that just kind of happened? I mean, because I think we can all relate to that in life, where we get to this point in life, we're just like, fuck it. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Like, was there a moment for you where everything switched?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, like this past year, I've had some crazy life changes. So it's just like, you know, like when you realize how little you have control over. So it's just like, you know, like if someone passes away, like when my brother passed away, and then going through that, and then going through like, you know, relationships and different things, like going in and out. It's like, you have so little control over what anybody else does, or what the circumstances with things are, and like how things play out. So it's like, if you can control, like, you know, my coach Safe always says, control the controllables. And like, you know, that goes so deep, because it's like, you know, if you have control over waking up, wake up. If you have control over going to run, go run. And if you have control over what you eat, then watch it. You know, so it's like, for me, I'm like, I'm doing everything else I can do, and I'm just ready to go. So I'm just like, fuck it, man. Like, if I get taken down, I get taken down. Or if someone tries to like swing heavy on me, like, it's like whatever. Like, I'm just different, man. I'm like, I'm really happy right now too, which is great. And then I'm like, I'm so excited to prep for the fight, and to like have a good diet, to have my training on point, to have my, you know, gym going well. And, you know, there's just a lot of pros right now. So I'm just, you know, I'm just in a good mindset.
You know, speaking of Fortis, Cain Velasquez was recently in Fortis for a seminar. Of course, we all know about his wrestling credentials and what he's accomplished throughout his athletic journey. Like, was there something that you took from him of how he kind of broke down his mindset on the fight game?
Yeah, I mean, always when you get someone in there like that high of a caliber, you can pull a million things from them. But you know, really just like the things that I try to tell my guys, like the basic stuff is like, it's so important even at the highest level. Like when you see these guys winning, you know, national championships, you see them winning the UFC championship and stuff like that. Like, you ask them like what they're doing for training, and it's probably not that much different than what you're doing, but they just don't mess up while they're in training, and they don't have that mindset of doing it half-assed. So that was the big thing I got from him, was the fact that he's done everything he's done, and really he's doing the same things I'm doing. Just he's making sure that he's not slipping up at all, you know. And so that's the biggest thing I got, was just, you know, consistency.
One of the things that when I was putting together some notes for our conversation, that according to your, you know, I was looking at your topology, looking at various things. you're fighting 2 days after your birthday. So are we holding off on any birthday celebrations?
Oh, I mean, I don't celebrate my birthday. I'm a grown ass man. I don't do shit. I don't ever do. Like, I'm the worst person for birthdays. Like, you know, even my kids, I'm like, you know, like, what do you guys want to do? Like, I don't even know. I'll let them plan it out because, like, I don't get into birthdays. So, you know, I think after your 18th and your 21st birthday, and then once you get up to like 50, so those are the birthdays you got to celebrate. So, but I don't get into birthdays. So, like, I don't mind cutting. I've cut weight on my birthday so many times. So, I'm okay with, you know, being there and not celebrating a whole lot because I know when this trip's over, I'll be going to Mexico. I'll be going somewhere with the beach. I'll be going somewhere like fun. So I'll be okay.
When you think about Chepe in terms of, you know, what he does well, the scouting report of him, what are some of the things that stick out to you about what he does?
He's a dog, dude. He's like you hit him with the combo, he's gonna come back at you heavy and throw heavy. And so you know, and he has a great camp. He, you know, trains with some tough dudes, and I know he's at elevation, so that's, you know, these things are, you know, things I think about for sure. You know, like, I like the matchup in so many ways, and I know that it's a tough matchup in so many ways. And I know you know, these guys coming in from LFA, like, that's where I came from, and I know, like, some of the guys he fought there, he didn't have an easy lineup. So, you know, like, he's tough. He's been tested. He's you know, he's a like, the thing is that, like, you know, they had him in place to fight Dan Ige, and you know, obviously top 15 right there. And the fact that I'm getting to, you know, go get matched up against this, like, the new guy, you know, kind of thing. It's like he's got all this hype, and you know, a big win over him would be a statement for, you know, for me to get a top 10, top 15 guy. So I know how important it is for me. I definitely know how important it is for him. But you know, I'm ready to go.
Was he on your radar before getting this call?
No, I knew him. I knew of him, you know, but you know, I feel like some of those guys, they get on a streak like that, and then they get the call for a, you know, a top 15 guy. And so Dan Ige is kind of that guy that, you know, he's like that placeholder for that, you know, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
And so everybody that gets in the top 15, they have to go through Dan. And he's like, he could fight top 5. You know, you just never know, man. And Dan's a tough dude, and I got so much respect for him. But they were, you know, putting him in to fight. You know, Chepe was in to fight him, so I know that they think highly of him, and I know that a win over him would be a big statement for sure.
Do you feel like you have that underdog mindset heading into this one?
No, fuck no, not even close. No, fuck no. Like, I literally, like, my coach will tell you, like, I kind of like, I have it's good and bad, because I'm like, I've never once in my head thought, oh, I'm an underdog, or I'm gonna get, like, beat in this position. Like, I don't have that in me, and it's hard for me to even put my mindset on that. It blows my mind. It blows my mind how many times I've been the underdog in so many of these fights, and I'm like looking at the guy, and I'm like, bro, I'm gonna smash this dude, or I'm gonna beat him here. So, you know, Chepe's tough, but I'm ready to go, and I love the matchup. You know, so when I got the you know, opportunity to take it, I was like, I'm all over it. So,
have you seen the betting odds on the fight?
I haven't. What are they?
You're plus 200.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, somebody's gonna be making some money. I got a lot of diehard fans, and you know, people always say that they're always like, you know, I'm in better shape than ever. Like, I'm just better now than I ever have been. Like, I truly am at a different level, like, everywhere right now than I've ever been. And, you know, I just, like, that cracks me up. I didn't realize it was that big of a difference. So, I would say put your money in now, because, you know, maybe when they see us at weigh-ins, people will change their mindset.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. Just looking at best fight odds of how many times you have opened up as an underdog in the UFC.
Yeah, go for it, man. Like, whatever. I wish I could bet on myself. Apparently, that's illegal now. So.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. No, you can't do that anymore. I mean, you know, but as you've prepared for Chepe and you looked at, you know, his previous opponents, is there something that stuck out to you that said, you know what, man, they just didn't take advantage of these things?
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure. You go into every fight with a game plan for sure, and it's like that game plan usually lasts in the first, and then after that it's kind of like up in the air. You know, you got to kind of go with the flow. Even in like the first 2 or 3 minutes, it's kind of, that's your game plan area, and if you can't put your game plan into effect, then you probably got to switch it up. So I feel like there's definitely a few things that I see, but it is what it is. Can't give out any secrets, but I ain't gonna change a whole lot. I'm back to wrestling. I'm back to my grappling. I'm back to all that stuff. So expect to see the leech coming back in like heavy. So but yeah, we'll go from there.
I saw this clip where you talk about fighting at the Apex, and of course you're a veteran of fighting at the Apex. And one of the things I thought was interesting that you talked about is kind of like that weird, awkward moment where you're getting pumped up in the back, you make the walk, and then you just kind of sit around the cage, and there's just not a lot of people in the building.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really cool because I know that they could do it if they would do like maybe like they only have 3 rows, so it's like a regular bleacher that you go to like a soccer game, so it's like 3 rows. So I thought they could do like maybe like 10 rows and make it a little bit more affordable for some more diehard fans, because there's some people that come in there that are they're fans, but they're not the dumbass drunk fans that scream and make noise. They're more like they know what they're watching, so they're like watching it quietly. So I would say any fans that go there, I hope that you guys get loud. One time I almost came out to an audience just clapping and cheering. I was like, man, what should my walkout be? And I was like thinking, I was like, man, I would just like to hear something like that, but I just like I've definitely gotten used to it, but it almost feels like it's like a practice, which that kind of helps in its way too, because it's like if you treat the fight like it's practice, like in practice you don't like getting hit, so it's like if you're not getting hit in the fight and you're calm, then it could help you too. So
I'll tell you, one of the things I love about going to local fights is just hearing what fans are saying. I was calling some fights a couple weeks ago down in Miami, and there was one point I just heard this fan just talking craziness, and I'm trying to do the broadcast without laughing on the air because I'm hearing what is going on behind me.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've definitely been a fan at LFA events, and I've been a fan at UFC events, and going to corner these guys in these local shows. Like Fury is actually really impressing me too lately. The way they put their stuff together. Like I like Fury's cards too. So like I'm around, I'm around the local scene and around the big stuff, and hearing these people, the uneducated people talking about the fights, and people wanting to get in the cage like the night of. I'm like, bro, shut your freaking mouth. Like you would go viral so bad. It was like, it's just funny to think that most of these guys couldn't even do like a 30-second sprint on a treadmill, and they're talking about like getting in the cage, or they're talking about what they would do differently or whatever. So it is what it is, but just you got to let them have it. It's
I remember being at a Bellator show up in Connecticut, and it was Mitrione and 𝐒𝐕𝐷, and the fight ends in the first round due to a groin shot. I want to say it was Matt couldn't continue on, and you hear the fans right behind press row going, "I'll get in there and fight him." Like, no, bro, you do not want to get in there. You do not want to get in there. That would not go well for you.
Well, what's crazy is that whenever I was first starting out, I was up in Missouri because I was wrestling up there, and I would do all my amateur fights were there. All of them, because I would wrestle all year, and then I would fight in the summer. I would fight twice every summer. And one time I was at this I was fighting for this Branson show. It was an outdoor event. It was in an Applebee's parking lot in Branson, and it was for the Branson like fighting championship, like BFC something. I was fighting for a belt, and I was like freaking out, fighting for a belt. And anyway, so like we're fighting, and then the show's going by so fast, like it's like finish, and the promoter's like, I don't know what to do. Like they're trying to get their liquor sales up and everything. So they freaking let this old man. He's probably like, I don't even know, like he was in his 50s, like 50s, no background, nothing, talking mad smack. And he gets in there with cut off denim, like jeans, like he had cut off shorts on. So they had the flares in the bottom and everything. He gets in there, takes his wife beater off, gets in the cage, and he's going up against this young kid, probably like in his early 20s, knocks the kid out. And this is before everybody had phones to like video
Yeah.
everything and like make it go viral. Because I mean, I wish I could find that clip because it would go viral to this day. But knocks this kid out, and we're like, what? Like, and I saw that, and then I fought for the title that night. So it was funny. Yeah, times have changed a lot.
Yeah, this sport's changed a lot. One of the changes, and I don't know if it'll be in effect for your fight, 12-6 elbows now being legalized.
Yeah.
Was that when you saw that news? Were you just like, oh yes?
Well, yeah, because it's like it's the most bogus rule ever. Like nothing changes from straight up, straight down here to like a slight angle. And how is a referee gonna see if it's full 12-6? The only way you could really call 12-6 like illegal is if you had someone in a crucifix and you're going straight up, straight down. Then you know it's 12-6. But if you're like if you have someone's back and you're throwing the elbows like on the side of their head, but you're going straight up, straight down, it looks like you got an angle, but it's the same thing. So I thought the rule was dumb. And then the whole grounded opponent, that's a huge thing because people play that position and like while you're not throwing your knees, they're waiting for your leg to get close enough where they can snatch up a single, or they're waiting for a moment like that. So like people play that game like touch go game, and like I think that's complete BS. So I'm excited to see both those rules. And
Is there another rule change you'd like to see happen in the sport?
what I personally think is that when people miss weight, they should then the other person should be able to pick what round that they get a point deducted from their fight. Because I think that people miss weight because it's like, oh, screw it, I'll give up 20 grand or whatever because they're making 150 because they're gonna win their fight
Yeah.
and they're gonna like have an advantage because they miss weight by 3 pounds because that last 5 pounds of weight is so hard to lose. So what I think what should happen is if you miss weight, you give up the percentage of your purse, but if you miss weight by more than say a pound, then you give up a point in whatever round they want. So, and if that happened, it would be a game changer. So many fights are like, razor thin, and they lose the decision. And so if you had to pick a round to like, take a point away, that would be huge.
My thing on the weight miss is I think it should be more a financial penalty because there are times where I see someone miss weight and I start to kind of think of, was it strategic in terms of how they think the fight's going to go? Or is it legitimately where, your coach, the coach says, no, we're stopping this weight cut. We can't go anymore. I mean, but more times than not, I sit there and think of how much of the weight miss may have been strategic.
I walk around about like 175, 173. I make weight and I have to like kill myself to make 146. Like, whenever freaking douchebag, I just forgot his name, the last guy I fought,
Alexander
oh my
Hernandez.
God, Alex, when he missed weight, I was like, bro, I literally just like, I fucking passed out like while I was cutting weight. Like, I'm like out of it. And I'm dying to make weight, and then I'm like stressing out like that morning to make weight, and I finally got down to weight, and apparently like the night before he was like talking about doing a catch weight the night before, and I'm like, why didn't you just say that and I would have stopped cutting weight, and that last 5 pounds wouldn't have been that bad. So it's like, yeah, it's an advantage. That last 5 pounds is the worst weight to cut, like by far. It's so hard to lose, like so hard.
Yeah, it's one of those things of sometimes I almost feel like if you miss weight, maybe the negotiations should start at 50%. It make it worth your while.
Yeah, I mean, really, like it's messed up because it's like, yeah, you only get, and so it's not even like you don't get 20% of their overall money. You get 20% of what they get paid to show up. If they win the fight, you don't get 20% of that. That's what most people don't know. That most people think it's like, so say someone gets paid 200,000 and you're getting 20%, like, great, that's a lot of money, but like really you're only getting paid 20% of 100,000, so it's like, it's just I don't agree with it. I think it's the discipline part of making weight is just coming back from wrestling. Like, I've never missed weight for wrestling. I would never miss weight. Like, I would do anything to make weight. Like, I would never tell someone that I'm like sick and about to pass out. I would just suck it up and make weight because that's what I signed up for. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'll still never forget Daniel Strauss back in the day, misses weight, and he's like, cut my hair, cut my braids out. And he made weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, we saw it a couple weeks ago with Tracy Cortez having to cut her hair to sit there and make weight, you know?
She's annoying. Her and Brian are both. You know what? So what my game plan is to go out there and just freaking dominate this fight and not take any damage. And then I'm going to be ready for Brian Ortega to pull out again because he's going to. Yeah. He doesn't want that fight. He doesn't want that fight.
I was surprised that it got rebooked at 45 since he had kind of made it known that he wanted to go to 55.
Yeah. I think they're pushing him. I think they're, pressing him, like saying, I don't know if he's not allowed to go to 55 or what, but I think that he doesn't want that fight for sure.
Yeah, that day to me is just crazy. And I know everyone talks about what Dan Ige did, and that's unbelievable. But for what Diego Lopez did over those 36 hours, to where you go, hey, Brian's got to do catch weight, cool. All right, let's go. Then he pulls out on fight day, and they're like, hey, we got Dan Ige. Yeah, let's go. Like, that to me is also a capital G move. Of like, you know what? I don't care.
100%.
I'm making the walk.
Matter. That's why I never met that kid, but I like him a lot. And that's why I was like, I'll be ready to go. When Brian pulls out, I'll be ready to step in. And I would love to have that fight. Like, he's a tough-ass kid. And, it's just like there's not a lot of us like that. Like, me, Dan, him, like there's not a lot of guys that are just like, fuck it, I'll fight anybody. Everybody says that. Everybody says that they'll do whatever or fight whoever, but like people are so like they're so picky and choosy with what fights they take and when they take them and how long their camp is and whatever. Like I'm just like I'm training every day. My mindset's on point all the time, so I'm like I'm just ready to go all the time. So I don't know. I like it. I respect him and I respect Dan. So.
Of course, we look forward to seeing this fight here come up here on August the 10th there in Las Vegas, UFC APEX. Of course, Damon, as always, man, appreciate the conversation. Let me know anything you want to mention. People follow you on social media or whatnot.
Yeah, I don't do a lot, just on Instagram. It's Damon V. Jackson. And, man, I appreciate everybody's support.